Hello and welcome to Never Seen It, a podcast about movies we haven't seen yet. My name is Trent. I'm here with my wife, Betsy.
Hello, fellow traveler.
Betsy, we're not only traveling today, we are time traveling.
Oh.
We are starting a brand new series called... What is it, Betsy?
Timefoolery!
Timefoolery! We teased this on our last episode. We're going to do 4 episodes.
Tease, we told the people.
Yeah, we told the people. We are starting a brand new series, 4 movies, all having to do with time, whether it be time travel or time loops or something having to do with time. Also, we were watching the movie In Time, and that just kind of started us into this other thing.
Between this and About Time, we've been thinking about it a lot.
Yeah.
And you made a promise to the people, Trent.
I did. Back early on this year, I said we are absolutely going to cover the movie Looper because, hey, Looper is a movie that has been out there forever. Neither of us have seen it, and it's kind of a big deal because Rian Johnson is also a very big deal.
So we decided now is the time. We're going to put it in a series because we know that has something to do with time.
And there's a few other movies out there that are, time stuff is hot. Like, we covered Palm Springs, and that was one of the, surprising movies that we did a couple of years ago. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, so we've watched it a few times since then. One of the rare movies that we've done on this podcast that we have seen multiple times.
All the way through, yeah.
All the way through.
So, anyway, we already said it. We're doing Looper today. We got 3 more after this. Betsy, we haven't seen this movie. We also haven't seen a trailer for this movie since it was new. So, what can you tell me about it?
So I believe that the plot of this movie is that Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Bruce Willis play the same person at different ages. And older Bruce Willis's character travels back in time. My understanding is he's trying to kill his younger self, but I could be misinterpreting that. I just seem to recall something about being a hitman. I don't know if it's like Terminator style and he's there to kill somebody else, but I'm pretty sure it's himself.
Are we spending a lot of time in the quote unquote future? Is this going to be like the Terminator where we start off with him traveling back in time and we don't get any background information?
And you don't need to know because he's just here, deal with it.
Right. He just shows up naked in a train yard somewhere.
I don't need to see that today, but if that's the way we do it, so be it.
Sure. I don't really know of anybody else in this movie, except I know one thing. I looked up when this came out and there was a picture on the main IMDb page with Paul Dano riding in a car with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. With a ponytail, I think.
That's a weird choice, but I'm here for Paul Dano.
Hey, we love Paul Dano.
This is the Paul Dano podcast. Welcome. We are fans.
Also, we are saying the name properly for the first time, on this podcast. Maybe the second time. I can't remember.
We've been able to bring him up a few times since we found the correct pronunciation of his name.
Because he was doing an interview where he said his own name. It's oh, okay, we're not going to call you Dano anymore.
No, Paul Dano. I don't know anyone else in this movie.
No.
It's Rian Johnson's baby, so it's gonna have his own interpretation of what are the rules of time travel.
Right.
Is it twisty-turny and if you go back you fuck shit up, or is it a thing where it doesn't matter what you do, there are no effects?
Right.
What are the boundaries?
His subsequent movies have been intricate enough where you can get it and it's not too complicated. So time travel, everybody has their own interpretation of what the rules might be. I'm curious if he actually goes over them. Is there going to be a Joseph Gordon-Levitt voiceover where he talks about it? I'm curious. I'm also really curious if this is going to be in any way comedic, because a lot of his other stuff is very funny. Beyond what kind of genre thing it is, I don't really know anything about the plot. Why is he traveling back in time or forward in time?
Or
whatever
how
the fuck
can
it
he
is.
travel back in time?
Yeah, what are the mechanics of this? I want this to... Time travel movies, I want to be 4 hours long because I want to explore everything.
You don't want it to be it just is, deal with it. You would rather have the intricacies. It's a machine. It's quantum physics. It's a device.
I don't care what it is. If you got the little doodad, you press a button and you travel back in time to whatever time that you want. But anyway, we're going along here, so Betsy and I are going to go watch Looper. We will be right back with the Timefoolery. And we are back. Betsy, that was Looper. What did you think of that one?
I liked this one. I have to watch this one again because there's a lot to understand. Because Rian Johnson is one of those smarty pants filmmakers.
Yeah.
And I get it, but it's just a lot to unpack.
There's a lot of timefoolery.
There's a lot of timefoolery.
TM.
And so I had it backwards, where it's not Bruce Willis going back in time to kill his younger self. It's we are in the present day, and people from the future come back, and he kills them, but it's all gone awry, and now he's coming back to kill a kid. So it turns into The Terminator. It turns into a lot of movies.
It's like we mentioned in the intro. We mentioned Terminator, but it's kind of like reverse Terminator in some fashion. It's
reverse
weird.
Terminator.
Yeah.
You are the Terminator.
It's weird.
But good weird.
Yes, absolutely good weird. Like I had to stop a couple of different times to go back and number one, have you explain something to me because you got this earlier than I did, and then I got in front of you and I had to stop a couple of times to explain something to you. And yeah, it takes a couple of brains here to put it all together, especially the first time you're watching it. Now, if this wasn't for a podcast and it wasn't 10 o'clock at night on a Friday, maybe we would go back and, rewatch some of this stuff and maybe look into it a little bit more. But hey, we need to give you our initial reaction. That's the whole point of this podcast.
Because we could watch this like 3 times and then tell you all of it. But no, you're getting the raw deal.
That's the whole idea here. So I enjoyed this one, I think, as much as what I expected, because so far every Rian Johnson movie I have enjoyed quite a bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He has not let me down yet.
Yeah, and this is an earlier piece of his. My understanding here, we both read some of the trivia here. Apparently this movie has been kicking around for a very long time before it got made.
He had it in the works for like 10 years.
Yeah.
Bits and pieces of it.
And there is a ton of different producers in the credits. There's like, I don't know, half a dozen at least. People who helped him out with fleshing it out and putting it all together. And this script was floating around Hollywood for a few years before it actually got made. And they called it it was the best script that hasn't been made yet.
Which, if it's so good, why doesn't somebody make it?
I don't know. Maybe they were trying to get the right casting. Maybe they were trying to get the budget. Like maybe they could not get it sold because they didn't think it could be made.
Or it's the simple thing of when it's a kind of movie like this, the guy who writes it has a tendency to want to be in control of it. He would want to direct this himself because he has such a vision for it. That how do you let somebody else make it? Right. And a lot of producers won't let you get away with that. They'll just say, no, we'll buy your script, but we want to make it under our rules. Yeah. Get our guy in there.
There's weird Hollywood stuff about, directors, and you need to have a director under your contract do so many movies. Otherwise, they can go somewhere else. And it's a big, stupid business thing.
And creative control. Like, you want to do it this way. It's like what we talked about when we watched True Romance. Quentin Tarantino would have made True Romance a very different movie.
Sure.
Because that's his style, which is why he had to relinquish control and walk away and let it get made by the people who made it.
Yeah.
But if he had done it, it would have been different. Same thing here. If Rian Johnson had let this go and let someone else make it, would it have been good? Yes. Would it have been a different movie? Absolutely.
Maybe it could have been a completely convoluted mess like a lot of other movies that cover time travel are.
Oh, this movie easily could have tipped the scales into complete chaos, and I wouldn't have understood any of it. Like, I understood it.
Yeah.
It was just a couple of things where I'm like, I just need someone to repeat that to me, please.
Yeah. And
Go back a second.
I can't remember the thing that we watched, but there was it was adaptation, where he takes a screenwriting class, and the guy who is the professor, the teacher, the guy on stage says, if you put voiceover in your movie that explains the plot, you're doing something wrong.
God help you.
God help you, whatever it was. Brian Cox was the guy who said it. But I think Joseph Gordon-Levitt being the voiceover here helps out a whole lot, especially in the first part of the movie.
You have to have a voiceover. You have to have somebody explaining some of the rules at the beginning of this movie. Like, he doesn't do it the whole movie. It's really just the beginning and then at the end.
Yes.
I feel like that's the only time there was voiceover. Because you need to understand the rules. There are rules to this movie. You can't just have random dialogue. Like, you could, but it wouldn't be as effective.
It wouldn't fit as well because in this world, why would they be talking about this world?
Yeah, and we're not going to give you a whole origin story like, oh, here's the first guy who traveled back, and that's how Jeff Daniels got here, and he recruits everybody. This would be like a fucking hours-long movie.
Yeah.
Now, could you do that if you did a TV series of this? Yes, we've talked about that before. Yes, I think you could adapt something like this where you build out the world and you give a little more backstory. But they do it in a really clean way here where it's like, okay, here's how it goes. We're called loopers, and this is why we're called loopers.
Yep.
And here's this bad guy in the future that they introduce pretty quickly. They don't go into the specifics of how or why we've invented time travel.
Right. Like, this movie is not about time travel. There happens to be time travel in it. It is a pivotal part of it. But that's not what's going on here. It happens just a few times. The people blink into existence, they get shot, and they get hauled away. That's it. That is the extent of the time travel here, except for the fact that Bruce Willis is one of these guys that gets loose and doesn't get shot right away. Or at least doesn't get killed right away.
Yeah, it's a bad thing if your future self ends up in the past, but they're on the loose.
Yeah.
Because in this version of time travel, they don't give you all the details, but they give you enough to know that the two people in this room are the same. The timeline is the same. So they demonstrate it by, okay, they carve a word into his arm.
Right.
And it shows up in real time in the older version.
As a scar.
As a scar.
Right.
So this is the same thing. It's not going to be a different timeline. They don't have different memories. He remembers the things as they're happening.
Right. And we get introduced to this whole concept with Paul Dano. Because they say, when it's your time to retire or go off into the sunset or whatever you want to call it.
When they want to make sure there is no connection now or ever between me and you.
Right. You, as an older person, get sent back in time and you shoot yourself. But Paul Dano...
But you get a bunch of money for it.
Yeah. Paul Dano can't do it. He sees himself because himself sitting there is singing a song that only he would recognize. And he runs away, or he freezes up, and his older self runs away. And this crazy, crazy sequence of him, of the older Paul Dano. We're going to get all mixed up here, so I'm just going to keep calling it old and young. The older Paul Dano is running away, and he sees the scars start to show up on his arm, and it says, go to this place. But in reality, in this real time, the younger Paul Dano is being mutilated.
And you watch as his future self changes, where he's missing fingers, and then the fucking nose off his face is gone, and then his limbs disappear, and he's crawling in the streets.
And he gets to the place where his arm says to go, but those are the people doing the mutilation.
Yeah, that is really fucked up.
Yeah.
But it's so effective and well done. This scene, the way they slowly edit together.
Yeah.
That he has been mutilated.
And they don't do it with like CG. It is.
No.
I mean, I know it's not practical. I know he has a hand.
To some extent, there is practical. It's all like makeup and everything.
Sure.
But this is another one where Rian Johnson has said he didn't want a whole lot of CG stuff.
Yep.
So it's probably a body double who doesn't have legs crawling in the street because that guy did not have legs.
But yeah, like you said, he was missing a nose, like part of his face was burnt.
But it's like it happened a long time ago.
Because it's all scarred.
But also consider this, Trent. They can't actually kill Paul Dano in this moment. He has to live the rest of his life like that.
Yeah.
And then go to the future. Because there are ripples, there are effects when something happens now that you don't want to change later. Like Jeff Daniels says, well, we're going to try not to kill him because that would really fuck some things up for us.
Right.
So you see this really horrific thing happen to this old man, and you just get a glimpse of a guy being fucking mutilated on an operating table.
Yeah, he's strapped to a fucking gurney where all this shit is happening to him. And you don't know, they don't show it, but
you know.
It is.
You know.
Yeah.
But he doesn't die. He lives the rest of his life and ends up right back around because that's the whole point of this movie is circles, loops.
Yeah.
And that is a really fucked up thing to be like, yeah, so this is how this is going to go down. We're going to completely destroy this man, and he has to live the next 30 years of his life like that.
Yeah.
That is fucking dark, and we don't see him the rest of the movie. He's actually only in the 2 scenes at the beginning.
Pretty much.
Because Paul Dano was not that well known when this movie came out.
I suppose not, yeah.
He had been in, I think, There Will Be Blood was probably the biggest thing he had done at that point.
Sure.
And Little Miss Sunshine. So he had big movies, but he's one of those guys that somehow manages to show up in these great movies with great directors.
Mm-hmm.
Be
great.
And he's great in it, and then you kind of forget. Like, I did not know until today he was in this movie.
But I will say, we're not going to get into like the nitty gritty, this is not an explainer podcast because we barely understand this. We could be getting everything wrong here, but
we're explaining it to you badly.
As we
Welcome
see
to
it.
Betsy and Trent explain the movie badly.
But going along with all of these consequences, not only do we see the stuff happen to Paul Dano and his later self, it also happens with Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Bruce Willis. When everything kind of goes bad for Joe, he lets his mark go. Bruce Willis runs away.
He's overpowered by him, frankly.
Fine.
Because one of them is expecting it and one of them is not.
Yeah.
And the one that is not is Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Again, okay, in real life, if you saw your older self right in front of you, wouldn't you freak out?
If they were looking you in the face when you're not expecting it, yeah.
Yeah, and that's part of it. He doesn't have the hood.
He's not in the attire that they usually are.
They're in the attire, but he doesn't have the hood on.
They're usually tied up,
yes.
And they have a bag over their head, and they're wearing like a jacket that has the money in it.
Yeah, and he has the jacket
and
with the money in it.
And he's tied up. Yeah, so he's tied up, but Bruce Willis shows up,
yes.
And his hands are free, and he doesn't have a hood, and he's looking at him, and he looks him right in the face.
Yeah, and he turns around and he shoots the money and not himself.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So yeah, if that happened, he has a logical reaction.
Yes. Anyway, so after that all happens, he goes back to his apartment, and the cowboy, let's say, because the guy who's always spinning his fucking gun, the cowboy shoots Joseph Gordon-Levitt in the ear, and you can see him all bandaged up later on in the movie, and Bruce Willis has a fucked up ear in this movie.
They are consistent with things like that, yes.
Yes.
And it's happening in real time versus, I have thought it's like that Indiana Jones thing where in Last Crusade, they show how he gets a cut on his chin to demonstrate, well, Harrison Ford always has this scar, so we're making it part of the movie how the actor looks this way. Like, is it possible that I just missed all this time that Bruce Willis has a fucked up ear? I don't know. I'd have to go back and check.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, that looks pretty damn natural to me.
Yeah, but it's that thing where they could have written that in the script. Well, he has this scar.
Right.
Let's show Joseph Gordon-Levitt get it.
Right.
So that later it all makes sense.
Okay,
and it's just
I'm
like making reality part of this canon.
All right, now I see where you're coming from. That's really smart.
I'm just saying, I don't know. I'd have to check. And credit where credit is due to Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who did the work as far as trying to emulate Bruce Willis. Does he look like him? No. He had to do 4 hours of prosthetic makeup to look remotely close to him, and he still doesn't look like him.
He doesn't. And it's probably because I've seen more Joseph Gordon-Levitt in movies than I have Bruce Willis. Maybe.
They just
I don't know.
It helps when you have a basic, facial structure or sort of a similarity to begin with. And they really don't have it. They don't. But when he is speaking, I was totally getting the way that Bruce Willis does that kind of mumble whisper speak he does.
We read that on set, Bruce Willis commented at Joseph Gordon-Levitt saying, "This is really freaky. Like, you got my voice, you got my mannerisms. I don't like this."
Yeah. So when he's doing that, when he's talking just at a normal, base level when he's introduced, I got it. Like, I totally see you have been doing the work.
Yeah.
I see Bruce Willis.
I would have to watch this movie again to get more of it because I barely got any of it.
I only got it in those moments, in the quiet moments, because when he would get excited and he'd be yelling, he would lose it for me. But anytime, I don't know, maybe I've just seen things like The Sixth Sense and The Fifth Element so many times.
Sure.
Where he is just doing that thing where he's just kind of talking and he's sort of monotone. And it's sort of just this whisper.
Bruce Willis is Bruce Willis in everything that he is ever in.
But Joseph Gordon-Levitt is doing that in this movie.
Yeah, again, I would have to rewatch it because, again, I just don't have... I was paying too much attention to the movie
You're
itself.
trying to get the content.
I'm trying to understand this shit.
You're like, I don't really give a shit how he talks or why he looks like that.
Nope.
I need to understand
with
the gun and who are these people and why are they there?
I'll get all that stuff later on another viewing. I bought this fucking movie, by the way.
Oh, yeah, this is one of those where we're like, we'll just buy it.
Rian Johnson
we know
is batting 1,000.
This is a good investment.
Yeah, Rian Johnson is batting 1,000 for us, so why not just buy the damn thing before we ever watch it?
Oh, and this is going to be one I watch again.
Definitely.
Because I want to understand it. I said it earlier. It's a combination of a lot of movies. There were a lot of things I was thinking about. Mm-hmm. This is kind of his inception, if you will. Like Rian Johnson. It's also funny that Joseph Gordon-Levitt's also in Inception.
Yeah.
I also was thinking of Carrie, because telekinesis.
Okay, we haven't mentioned the telekinesis yet.
We'll get to the telekinesis. I was also thinking of the Terminator.
Oh, yeah.
I was also thinking of the Adjustment Bureau. And maybe that's just because Emily Blunt is there, but it's also because that whole movie is about making little changes to change the timeline.
And I'll say this, hey, Adjustment Bureau is an underrated gem. I saw that movie in the theater back in like 2010,
whenever that came
2009, whenever it came out. I saw it in the theater and I loved it. It is an underrated gem. You should go and seek it out. It's great.
So there's a lot of inspiration that I was picking up on, intentional or not. You can't help but think of it because it's just that thread of sci-fi and common themes. Mm-hmm. Like literally, Emily Blunt's name is Sarah.
Yeah.
He travels back in time. Come with me if you want to live.
Oh, yeah. I literally called her Sarah Connor while she was out there chopping the tree stump.
And you didn't catch that her name was Sarah. I was like, did you make this connection, Trent?
Not at all.
Not at all.
Like I said, I called her Sarah Connor when she is like protecting this golden child who we really don't know. Oh, God. Yeah, like you said, it's equal parts. It is Terminator, it is the Adjustment Bureau. It's also kind of Star Wars because
Star Wars, give me the Star Wars.
There's this child with this special power. He is like he's got the most midichlorians.
And he could be good or he could be evil.
He could be good, he could be evil. It just depends on what happens with his mother, and his mother has a very tragic thing happen to her when he is about that age.
And it triggers him.
Yeah.
And it's, again, what happens in this moment changes the outcome of his entire life.
Yes.
Yeah. Rian Johnson's a really nerdy dude.
I mean, he made a Star Wars movie.
He did. And it's the one that everybody has a lot of problems with, which I think is ridiculous.
Okay,
we'll just say it.
We're not going to get into that, but we like that movie.
For the record, we are pro Last Jedi in this house.
100%. That last movie, Episode 9, we've only ever seen once.
Rian Johnson didn't have anything to do with that one. So just let's leave that out of it.
We're not going to get into that today. But as long as we're on the topic of the Force, telekinesis, what the fuck?
So they bring it up at the beginning, and it's just sort of this little extra flair to the movie.
Little tossed up thing.
By the way, in the future, 10% of people have telekinesis, but the only thing that they can do with it is make a little quarter float.
Right.
That is all anybody with telekinesis can do. Mm-hmm. And they bring it up at the beginning of the movie, and it does not come up again until almost the end.
Yeah, we see Paul Dano in the car kind of fiddling around with a coin of some kind or something similar to that. And that's about it. The voiceover is talking about, oh yeah, guys use it to hit on girls, to say, hey, I'm unique. I get to do this.
I'm so special.
Right.
Look at me.
Right.
And we don't see it again until Emily Blunt lights up a cigarette and she's floating her cigarette lighter.
But she's able to do it a lot more.
It's a bigger item,
Yep.
and she can really control it. And this is all you really get. And there is a scene where her kid is having kind of a meltdown, and she dives into a safe.
Yeah.
And you're
so
like,
the kid is
wait.
having a fit, and like calling her a liar, and like going through an episode.
Going to 11.
Yeah, and like.
And it gets slow motion and dark, and it's just like, is this just for dramatic effect? It's all in slow motion?
Yeah, this is a very strange scene if you don't know what the rest of the movie is, because she leaves. And you think, oh, this happens all the time. She can't deal with it. There's maybe a tragic backstory with her. But no, in reality, she's trying to protect herself. She runs off and gets into a gun safe and closes the door.
Because she doesn't want to die, because this kid has this gene. And it makes sense because he is her child. It would be genetic.
Right.
We don't know anything about the father. Maybe there is no father because his midichlorians. She just one day found herself with child.
And she was like 22, I think she said.
She was a young mother. And this kid can just, when he gets scared or upset, his powers come out, which is another one of those tropes in like these kind of superhero sci-fi movies.
Your emotions, get it out of you.
Yeah, he's Magneto. So he is also that. And it literally rips people apart from the inside.
Yeah.
When the guy comes to the house and the kid falls down the stairs, he lifts the furniture, lifts the guy, and you see Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I need a quicker name. Joe. We're just going to call him Joe.
Young
because that's
Joe.
his character. Young Joe. He goes to catch the kid so he doesn't hurt himself. Meanwhile, Mom fucking dive bombs him through the front door because she's like, everybody's get the fuck down.
Well, and you think when you're watching it that she is going after the kid, trying to save the kid from falling. But no, she is trying to get Joseph Gordon-Levitt out of the fucking house because she thinks that the house is going to blow up.
Well,
and it kind of does.
Well, no, she doesn't want to die. She knows that you could blow up. He could blow up.
Well, sure.
She's seen what he can do to a degree. She knows what he's capable of. And we're watching this guy floating in the air and all of his blood just in slow motion
starts leaking out
of him. And then there's this big pop and there's blood everywhere.
Yeah.
So this kid is fucking intense. And this is the future that we have in store, where if he continues on the path he is on, he's going to choose the dark side and he becomes the Rainmaker. And that's just the nickname they give him because, you know, he can rip people apart from the inside using his mind power.
Yeah. And I mean, we were reading some stuff about the origin of the name Rainmaker. Like, his mother is a farmer, and there's this like crop dusting robot drone thing that goes and sprays the crops. Like, maybe that's where he gets it.
And it's an homage as he seeks his revenge.
Right.
Well, he's also brilliant. Like, they don't really touch very much on this. He wakes up in the middle of the night, he goes and grabs Joe, and the two of them are making like technology in the kitchen. And this kid's like 4.
Yeah, he heard that they need a way to communicate, so I'm just gonna rig up this thing using my toys and give it to you.
Yeah, and somehow he's able to do that and he can remember back a really long way.
Yeah.
This kid is very special. And okay, again, Anakin Skywalker. Like, are you fucking kidding me? This kid building robots when he's like 5.
Yes.
Yeah.
Check the basement.
Rian Johnson's a total nerd.
Check the basement. There's an R2-D2 down there.
So they don't really touch on it, but it gives you all the pieces where before we get to, oh yeah, the revelation that he is this super kid, it's like, yeah, no, he's definitely the one we're looking for because I've seen movies, I know how plots work. Why would it be any of the other 2 kids?
Yeah.
They throw in extra drama like, oh, Piper Parabo's there and he's got a relationship and it's one of her kids.
Was. Yeah, okay.
Like, that was a whole extra thing that probably didn't need to be in there. It was just like, here's some more gravity.
She mentions that she has a kid and we maybe think, oh, maybe that's actually Joe's kid because they have a relationship.
They don't explore
They
it.
don't go down that road.
There's maybe, if I say one thing where I'm like, I kind of wish they had fleshed that out. Maybe there was another version of a script where there was something that had more impact there.
Yeah, I mean, they have some kind of intimate relationship where he says something to I didn't catch this while they were talking in bed. Too distracted by the naked woman on them, I guess. Joe said, hey, my mom used to like caress my head or my hair or something like that.
Yeah, just pet my head, basically.
Yeah, like this is...
Calm me down.
Yeah, that's the extent of that. And we don't really get any more about that. I don't know where I'm going with this.
Basically, the point is the kid that Joe is with, young Joe, it becomes very apparent very quickly that is obviously the Rainmaker.
Of course.
Because they have some of the details. They don't have all the details. He knows when he was born. He knows where he was born. And that's enough to narrow it down to 3 kids.
Right. All right, let's talk about Bruce Willis here. We haven't talked about him yet. He's there, but he's the future Joe self coming back to make sure that he gets the life that he was able to live and let his wife live. And there's a whole lot of other things here that we're going to have to go through one by one.
Well, this is where, again, it's an interesting take on the time travel story.
Yeah.
He comes back when he doesn't have to. We find out that he could have just stayed, but his wife was killed. So he's going to try to exact his revenge.
Yes.
And his hope is that if he kills the Rainmaker when he is a kid, that he can go back to where he is from and it'll all just work out because this guy won't be there anymore.
Right.
When we first meet him, we get the whole storyline of his version of events.
Right.
So we see young Joe kill his older self basically right away.
As it should have been. In the regular timeline of events.
So he closes that door. He goes across to where we think he's going to go to Paris, but instead he goes to China.
Right.
He meets a woman. He falls in love. He gets off the drugs. They're happy. Everything is going great.
Yep.
And then they grab him. And in a tragic turn, she dies.
Yeah, and the they is the people who are working for the Rainmaker. And we don't get a lot of the story of what's happening here, but there is an underground network of former loopers who are trying to take down the Rainmaker in this future world. Because we're shown, like, the whole thing about the number that he has on his hand, like, that is clues to, like, this, there's, I guess, research happening about where the Rainmaker, his origin story, let's say.
Who is it?
Who is he? Where was he
Where
born?
are they?
When was he born? All these details are in this one number that he puts on his hand. And, like, he's like the last looper. And I wanted more of that story. He's the last looper. He gets a phone call. He gets the number, and the other guy, like, dies, or, like, something happens to him. Where he's, like, the last one, and he takes that number with him, with all of the other clues that he has been given over the years. And when he finally goes back, he has the opportunity to use this information to go and kill him as a child.
But because he was going to be sent back, he could have just gone to his death. He could have done that and complete the loop, which we would have seen at the beginning. But he deviates from the plan and he gets in there and his hands are undone and he doesn't have the mask and he just takes young Joe by surprise.
Yep.
And that's where it starts getting interesting because his past has happened. Young Joe's future has occurred, but it also hasn't occurred because now we've opened the complexities of time travel and the what could be and what will be all becomes muddled up.
All these gears are turning in my head right now.
Yeah, I'm like, how do I say these words before I go cross-eyed?
Again, if we get some things wrong here, it'd be nice.
We're trying to understand it. But it was cool because we see young Joe falls out of his apartment and he hits the ground. And then immediately I was like, wait, what the hell is happening here? Why are we back to where we were? Oh, we're going to see it from his perspective.
Right.
But then we see young Joe shoot old Joe and I got really confused because that's what should have been.
Yeah, and that's
And that's what already happened.
Yeah.
That's what's so wild is it already happened as far as Bruce Willis is concerned. He already killed his older self. And then he comes back, and he hasn't killed his older self, except he has.
Right. So he was going to be able to close the loop on himself, and he was able to live his 30 years.
Yep.
He got his good 30 years. And the whole reason for him going back in time is a selfish one, because he doesn't want to have the same thing happen to his wife that happens to his wife. He wants to be able to rid the future of this tyrant. So what better way to do it? I mean, his wife is already dead. So what better way to live out the rest of his whatever time he has left than to go back in time and try to fix it?
But of course, what he doesn't realize is because time is a flat circle, by going back in time, he is actually what is triggering the creation of the Rainmaker.
Correct.
Because he kills Emily Blunt. The kid sees it, the kid grows up, and he doesn't have all the information, he just knows his mom was killed by a looper.
That's the evil timeline, and there's so many different things here that he's kind of fucking with your mind. Beyond the whole time travel fuckery, he is showing you the things that you think is going to happen. You think that, okay, Joe is actually going to fall in love with Emily Blunt, and instead of him meeting his Chinese lady, he's going to fall in love with Emily Blunt instead, and all those memories are going to go away. No, you think that the tragic death of the kid's mom was the sister, because they're all setting it up like that. You don't know what actually happened to the sister.
We don't get a full story on that.
Yeah. That's just there to kind of mess with your mind, or like make you think that something else is going to happen that doesn't happen. And the eventual ending, the thing that closes the loop, as it were, is Joseph Gordon-Levitt deciding to not be selfish. He is saving the planet based on what he is seeing with this kid. This kid is... he has potential to be either good or evil, and he's seeing a whole lot of evil here. So guess what? He is listening to himself. He is seeing what he is seeing with the kid. He's seeing what he's seeing about Emily Blunt being a good mother, and he chooses to off himself.
Yeah, he closes the loop by killing himself as a young man, just turns the gun around and does the deed. Yeah. Because it will stop everything else. And they don't go into what are the repercussions of that action. Like, does it matter?
Right.
By removing him from the equation in the here and now, what does that do to the future? Because future Joe disappears on the spot.
Well, think about this. Because
I don't want to think about this. It's going to get so complicated.
Because old Joe came back in time, he fucking killed all of those other loopers. Jeff Daniels called in all these looper guys in to try to hunt down young Joe, and he goes into the cop shop and wrecks shop. All those loopers are dead now, so what happens to the whole looper system?
What happens to the future?
Yeah.
Like, they don't spend very much time in the future. The only glimpse of the future we get is the little part with Joe and his wife when he is taken away and she dies.
Also, when we have the sequence of the time going forward and he's like skipping years, I like how they give him a balding wig of Joseph Gordon-Levitt's hair. Because
young
Joe is losing his hair quite quickly, but he starts to look like Bruce Willis.
You have to somehow make this transition work.
Yep, you're not going to put a wig on Bruce Willis. What are you doing?
Except they did. They did put a wig on him.
The
transitional
wig.
You
know what I mean.
But there's Rian Johnson for you. He's like, I'm going to give you enough just to make your brain go, I don't know how to process this, but also I can completely understand it. But also the more I think about it, the more it hurts my head.
Oh, yeah. Another like repercussion thing, all that money that was sent back with old Joe and all the money that young Joe had saved up, all is in the hands of Emily Blunt.
I don't know if that's necessarily that money. I was trying to figure that out because that was an armored car full of money, and I don't even remember where he got that. Where did he get that?
I think now that you say that, he came from the cop shop. He came from the looper den, or whatever you want to call it.
I guess, was it the car that Bruce Willis was driving?
Yes.
And there was money in the back of it.
Yeah, Bruce Willis drove up on this dirt road, and he stopped. He had just come from killing all those guys.
He said something about there's stuff in here.
There's a bunch of money here.
Get in and leave.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm with you. But again, this is
still doesn't matter where the money comes.
So many things to pay attention to.
Doesn't matter where the money comes from. Now she and the kid have all this money.
They have the means to an end.
What does that mean? I don't know.
It means they can be together, and she can take care of this kid, and he won't choose to embrace his telekinesis and go full carry on everybody.
Nothing bad is going to happen, essentially.
That's the idea.
What they're trying to portray here.
Yes.
So, man. We covered a whole lot of this movie, but we haven't even scratched the surface yet.
We really haven't. We haven't really talked about Jeff Daniels being in this movie.
Yeah.
So he is his boss.
Yep.
He is sent a one-way ticket to run the loopers, because that was one of my questions was, okay, who established this?
Right.
How do we get this system going? My assumption is it's always the same spot at the same time, which is how they're able to work this without communicating, because how do you communicate that? You just literally say, okay, this guy's going back, one-way ticket, your message is, it's always this spot, it is always this time. And maybe some days there'll be a guy there, and maybe some days there won't.
Right, and I was figuring they were gonna eventually bring a weird communication device where they can communicate back and forth between the times.
They can't do shit.
No. So Jeff Daniels, is he brought back with a list of guys who are gonna die at what time, at what location? How do they know?
I think literally it is just the same time. They have an agreed on plan. So on any given day, every single day of the week, at exactly, I didn't even look at the clock to see what time it was, 9 a.m.
Whatever it is.
Whatever time it is, we have the coordinates. We're going to send the body there because that's where it goes. Maybe in this version of time travel, they can only go one place. They can't pick the destination. The destination is always the same. Maybe the destination is the same spot they leave in the future. Just in the future, there's a big building on top of it.
Maybe.
I don't know. He didn't go into this details.
Well, and for Joseph Gordon-Levitt, it's that field. For Paul Dano, it is this
an alley.
And some alleyway, yeah.
Yeah, everybody has a different spot. So there's some logistics to it.
Yeah. I don't know how they know who it is and when it is.
I don't think it matters. None of that matters. All they know is in the future, they establish the rules. Jeff Daniels is sent back with that, and you don't question the rest of it.
I'm questioning it.
I know, but they literally call out in this movie, if we start talking about time travel, we're going to be sitting here all day talking about time travel.
I normally actually mind when a filmmaker kind of points out the stupid nature of what they're talking about, but when it's like this, I'm okay with it.
Just shut up and go with me on this.
Just go with it.
Yeah, we see the time machine. We don't know who invented it. We don't know how it works. I kind of assumed the Rainmaker did. I kind of assumed that kid, showing him as a little boy, being super brilliant, that he is the one who invented time travel, and that he did it to be able to do this.
Correct.
So he created the loopers to avenge himself.
Yep.
Yeah, they don't explicitly say it, but there's only really that logical answer.
Okay, I have a question. This is the question that I've been left with since we stopped watching the movie. How does Emily Blunt know about loopers? Because in this world, loopers are a secret. Young Joe explains to her that, okay, in the future, blah, 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 blah. She knows about it already, though. How?
I would assume it has something to do with how her sister died. Maybe it's the fact that someone has tried this before.
Oh, okay.
If we want to extrapolate and go down that road.
Second Sarah Connor.
But
or
no.
A fake Sarah Connor.
No, what I'm saying is Bruce Willis can't be the only one to have figured this out.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's just presume for a minute that someone else, another looper in the future, figured out, I've got a plan. This kid was alive. I'm going to take out the kid. And they tried to do that, and they got her sister.
Okay.
They don't explain it, but it's a logical conclusion.
I think you might be right. Yeah, I think I'm satisfied. Thank you.
Next question. One other thing that was interesting was the fact that they have that scene where Jeff Daniels is talking to him at the beginning of the movie, trying to get him to give up Paul Dano.
Yep.
And he says, we know you've been keeping your money.
Yep.
And we know, where are you going to go? You're going to go to China? And he says, I'm going to Paris. And he says, no. you're going to go to
I'm
China.
from the future.
Like, he's literally telling him, no, you're not going to Paris.
Yeah.
You're going somewhere else.
Yeah.
But the way he phrases it in the context of that conversation, you just think he prefers one location over another, and that, that city is shit and you don't want to go there. You actually should go to this other one. But in reality, he's just telling him what he actually does.
Right. No, I really figured that, he's from the future. Something really bad happens to Paris.
Right.
Because the rest of this world, I don't even know where the hell they are. Doesn't matter.
Oh, they're in Kansas.
Is that where it was?
The whole part with the present here and now is in Kansas. I assume they're in Kansas City.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, Stephanie.
They don't explain. She is from the Missouri side. Don't forget it.
Whatever. Kansas City.
I assume they're in Kansas City because they explicitly say Kansas 2044 at the beginning of the movie.
Okay, no, I completely missed the Kansas thing. But anyway, this whole area where they are is shitty.
It's the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And there's little hints to tell you what kind of future this is. It seems like the crops aren't growing very well. Like, that's kind of a problem.
There's vagrants everywhere.
The city's really dirty.
Yep.
They clearly don't have gas anymore because everything is either solar powered or it can fly.
I love the fucking jerry-rigged cars that have all the wires kind of strewn across them into the gas tank.
Yeah, they're not new cars. They're old cars that have been retrofitted.
Yeah, they're old shitty cars that are retrofitted with solar panels so that they could drive.
But they've got it pumped somehow right into the gas tank. So
Yeah.
they've somehow figured out how to make that run. So it is giving you hints of the future we live in.
Yeah. Anytime there is a future portrayed in film or TV, I love when the technology sucks. I love when things break down or don't work, like the goddamn hover bikes.
They're
his hover bikes and they suck.
Brand new hover motorcycle,
Right.
and he cannot get it to start. It's a piece of shit. He's gonna look so cool.
Yeah.
Now he is not.
Yeah. 2044, that's what we have to look forward to, guys.
It's not that far into the future.
It's not.
Actually, one of the behind the scenes things says Joe was born in 2019.
That's right.
So, Joe, happy 4th birthday, my dude.
And speaking of future things, I love future drugs. Take that out of context.
Eyedroppers.
Eye drugs.
Eye drugs.
Eye drugs.
You put them in your eyes.
Coming soon from Apple. Eye drugs. Yeah. Where all of his buddies, after one guy closes his loop, they're gonna go out to celebrate because, hey, he's done. He can retire. He's got another 30 years to go off and live his life.
There's so many circular metaphors in this movie.
Yeah.
And that is one of them. They have a long sequence where every day is kind of the same, where young Joe is doing drugs with his friends in the club. One of them closes his loop and they celebrate because now they've got all this money and they get to enjoy their life. And then the next day is the same. And it's never him. He just keeps on keeping on.
Right. And he's been doing this for quite a while. He's been doing it since he was a kid, basically.
Yeah. There was a moment in this movie where I was like, wait, is he the kid? Is that his mom? Because they say, well, he doesn't remember his mom and all that shit.
There's even a sequence where after they fuck, she tells him, he's you. Wait, what?
What does that mean?
No, she was referring to the other he.
Yeah.
The other he who is him.
But for a brief moment, I was like, well, wait, does he invent time travel and this is him as a kid? Or is it his kid? I was trying to, because now I'm anticipating what mind fuck is next in this movie.
Yeah.
I just assumed everything was possible.
Yeah.
Again, it wasn't that, but...
Yeah, this movie is just intricately crafted.
He gives you all the little puzzle pieces, and then all at once they snap together.
Yes.
That's this kind of
movie. Then you can see all of it.
And then you can see the whole picture.
Yes.
But you have to get... what is this confusing blue blob that I'm staring at in this puzzle piece? And what is that red blob over there? And why don't any of these pieces fit together?
Right. All right. Since we brought up Emily Blunt, we barely talked about her. Number one, her accent is weird and amazing.
I had no problems with it. I know she's doing kind of a southern thing.
She's kind of doing a southern thing, but no one else has a southern accent in this movie.
No, I think it's probably, again, she had the kid somewhere else.
Yeah, that's
and
kind
the
of what I'm
sister
thinking.
lived here.
Yeah.
So then she moved, and she, out of context, has an accent.
Right.
Also, she gonna fuck you up. Like, in this
Yeah.
movie, she shows up and she's, like, chopping at a fucking stump, and then she's got a gun screaming at him, I have killed and buried 3 vagrants this year. I will destroy you.
But in reality, her gun is just filled with rock salt, and she shoots Joseph Gordon-Levitt in the shoulder, and you think, oh shit, what the fuck is happening? But no, it's just...
It's just rock salt.
It's like a rubber bullet. It's gonna knock you down, it's not gonna knock you out.
No, he's fine. He got a new scar, though.
That's
because,
right.
again, old Bruce Willis goes, what's this now? A new scar.
Yeah.
Because it happens in real time.
Right.
I loved the scene of them in the diner where he writes Beatrix on his arm.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, you know there's another waitress here on the weekends. Oh, Jen. That would have been easier.
Yeah.
There are some moments like that where it's funny. They're pointing out this is a weird situation.
Yeah.
For the most part, though, you're spending so much time just trying to focus and understand what it is, who it is, what's happening, what's gonna happen. And your brain is like, how do all these pieces fit together?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Going back to, I guess, weapons in general, the regular loopers are assigned a blunderbuss. Were you familiar with a blunderbuss as a concept before this movie?
I always think of a blunderbuss as like an old piratey gun.
Yeah.
That's what I think
It's
of.
a very primitive shotgun where it is a whole bunch of just pellets shot out in like no particular like fashion. Like, it is good. They explain it in the movie. It is good for very close range. It is going to kill someone. But the reason why, like, later on in the movie where Bruce Willis is driving that armored truck and he stops way down there, it's because that blunderbuss is not effective
It's
at
useless.
that distance. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess the higher up guys get these big ass, like, they call them gats in the movie.
Gat's another, I've heard that term.
Yeah, it's like a Spanish term for gun.
I don't know. I'm not that familiar with weaponry, but the word I have heard before.
Yes, it refers to guns. But yeah, they got these giant revolvers that, like that one guy says, it is much easier to shoot someone at a distance using those, which I don't really understand. Well, they call them Gatmen. Like, what do these Gatmen, what purpose do they serve? Like, what are they doing that the regular loopers aren't?
It seems like their job is to clean up the mess if the loopers fuck up.
Maybe.
That seems like what they're doing. They're the mobsters, basically. They don't do what the loopers do. They are there to enforce the loopers.
They're there to keep the loopers in line, to keep them doing what
if
they're
they
doing.
fuck up, they are the ones that have to clean up the mess. They have to go and track down the old guy. They have to track down the young guy, and they have to make it right.
All right. Fair enough.
It's also, the keepers of the timeline, because if they leave those guys out there, shit could get really screwy pretty quickly.
Definitely. Oh, God. I only have one more thing to really talk about here. Did you have anything else?
Not really, just to re-emphasize that I'm definitely going to have to watch this again to really make sense of it in my brain. And I guarantee there's a shitload of stuff that neither of us even picked up on.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because I'm working it out kind of as we're talking about it.
Definitely. Like, we had to have a session before we sat down here in order to kind of, let's get this straight. This is what happens here. This is what happens here, right?
Were we watching the same movie?
Right. Do I have this down or not? But, all right, the last thing I wanted to mention, I've mentioned this show before. I mentioned it while we were watching it. This show is kind of like a reverse Dead Like Me, where in Dead Like Me, the quote-unquote Grim Reapers get a post-it note of where a person is going to die, like at what place and at what time. And they're there to collect the souls from the bodies as they die.
Before they die.
Well, before they die or after they die, it doesn't matter. In this one, the loopers are basically there to do the killing, and they just know the time and the place to go there, I guess.
Maybe Rian Johnson is a fan of Dead Like Me.
Maybe. I wonder.
In the credits, he gives credit to the Breaking Bad crew.
Vince Gilligan. Yeah.
So he's got some connection with that guy, and that dude wrote a lot for the X-Files.
Yep.
So he also likes intricate storytelling and complicated ideas.
It's all coming together.
It's all together.
A big ass loop. Everybody works with everybody.
So many circles in this movie that I will find later.
Yeah, but all right, I think that's where we are going to have to end this.
We gotta stop.
Again, like Rian Johnson said in the movie, we could just keep on talking about this movie in a loop, never ending, but we have to end because we have to go to bed. All right, we have reached the interactive portion of the show. If you would like to reach out to us, email us, neverseenitpod@gmail.com. We will absolutely read your email on the show. We don't get a lot of emails. We want to get more, so please, we encourage you, email us any thoughts that you have, even if you say, hey, this movie sucks, or hey, this movie's awesome, or hey, you guys are funny, or hey, you guys suck.
Or you guys are wrong about the last movie you watched, and here's why it's awesome.
Yeah, fine. We take all comers on this show, but all right, we are going to read an email from our superfan, Stephanie. She sent us an email here about a week ago. She finally went back and watched Virtuosity.
Another movie in the future.
Yep.
Was of significantly varying quality from what we just watched.
That movie's awesome. Shut up.
I said quality. I didn't say.
From Stephanie, Virtuosity. WTF is this movie? What the fuck is this movie? So weird. We watched half of this a few days ago and finished it last night. Denzel and Russell are really going for it. Oh yeah, they are. Hardcore. The dialogue is so bad, but they are treating it so seriously. I mean, I guess they have to.
I love any movie where it's just bad, and sometimes you feel like they know it's bad.
You kind of have to own it.
But they're so committed to just the nonsense. Mm-hmm. If they didn't buy into it, I don't buy into it.
Yeah. She says, the futuristic stuff is wildly inconsistent. Yeah. Every single scene with Russell Crowe is ridiculous. Yeah, I said him giggling on the screen is the weirdest thing I've ever seen him do.
Top 5 Russell Crowe movie.
Yeah, I agree with that statement. The police in this movie give zero fucks, shooting into crowds, giving Denzel his badge back, smashing up computers.
Yeah. The stuff that they do.
Yeah. I'm so glad that there is no romance. Thank God for editors, though it is madness that this is the best version of this movie. Yeah, I talked about that there was a completely different cut of this movie, and they had him go and re-edit it, and this is what came out.
Yeah, this movie's insane.
Yeah.
It's not good, but it's also amazing.
This is the released version. I want to see the unreleased version.
You don't.
Yes, I do.
You really don't.
She says, it makes very little sense, but I agree that it was very entertaining. That's all I want.
Well, unlike that movie, Looper at least made sense.
Yes.
It was entertaining. It's just making it make more sense in my brain.
She says, we also watched Stay Out of the Attic. It was an okay horror movie. It had a great idea, but the execution was so-so. I don't know what that movie is.
She watches a lot of horror, and we are not familiar with the bulk of those works.
No, definitely not. But, Betsy, it is coming up to October here, so we might need some suggestions. And she ends, of course, love you guys, from superfan Stephanie.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you very much, Stephanie, for this email and every email you continue to send us every single episode. It seems like. We have other emailers.
She has other stuff to do.
But she helps us out a lot. But thanks again, Stephanie, for that as well. All right. Again, we say it every single episode. Email us, neverseenitpod@gmail.com. We also have the social media stuff. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook are all out there for you to comment on. Share our posts, send us a message, comment, do whatever you want to do with that stuff. We've also started posting some clips from the show as well. It's a much easier way to share our stuff with your friends and whatnot, so they can get a taste of what the show is actually about. But those of you who have been listening to us for a while, if you would please do us a favor, go to your favorite podcast app of choice, wherever you are listening to us right now. We used to say, hey, go to Spotify. We don't care about that anymore. Listen to us wherever the fuck you want to listen to us. Go there, though. Rate our show 5 stars. Leave us a review if you wish, if you got an extra couple of minutes. Say something nice. Let the people know about how awesome we are.
We are worthy of 5 stars.
Betsy, we're worthy of 6 stars, but they don't let you do 6 stars.
They just don't let you. We've been asking.
All right, Betsy, the Timefoolery doesn't stop today. We have 3 more episodes coming up.
A whole series.
All related. We're not going to stop. Wednesday's coming up with another episode. Make sure to listen to that one. But until then, this has been another episode of Never Seen It. My name is Trent.
My name is Betsy.
And we'll see you in time.
Goodbye.